Hello everybody, welcome back. We are going to be looking at how to design a pin. We're going to make a lightsaber pin today. We're going to just take a Bic pin, so the El Cheapo Bic round stick pin, and we're going to take the ink cartridge out of that. This is, let's look it up. So it's literally the super cheap, like, yeah, you can buy a box for like $6. So they're these guys, but I think they're in blue, is what I've got. We can actually take the ink cartridge out, and then we need to measure the diameter of that spot kind of right in there, that I'm pointing right there on the screen, where that press fits into there, because that's where it's pulled out. So you pull out the tip area, and then it kind of nestles into this plastic spot, and then this is where we're going to basically put our handle um, for our lightsaber. Is going to be this guy. So there's a couple ways we could do this. I was thinking about it, and we could make the lightsaber handle as part of the um, just part of the pen holder, actually. So I think we might do that. Just change this to the lightsaber base, and then when you put the pin in it, we just leave the pin together, and then you have a blue lightsaber basically sticking out the end with this blue pin. And basically this becomes the cap of the pin. I'm kind of considering that now. Um, yeah, let's do the pin. Let's make a pin that goes in that pin holder. I think that's fine. And then you can do whatever you want. Um, so let's make, or yeah, we can make a cap. I mean, you got some options here. So I'm going to kind of leave it up to you on what you want to do here, but let's go pretty easy. Let's go sketch. We're going to sketch on this front panel. We're going to take a look at it. And then this is going to be the height of the base of my lightsaber. So I'm just going to kind of do some overall dimensions here. I could have done a rectangle, I guess, but here we go. Let's dimension this. So my pin, like the blade part of the lightsaber, is going to be, it's going to be at least 5 inches here. So yeah, this is almost like 5.5 inches. The whole length of the pin is like 5.64. So if we're thinking about the base, I'm thinking the base would probably be about 2 inches. That'd probably be a good distance here. So we're gonna make this 2 inches. And then to make it proportional, this has to be half the diameter, because we're gonna use the revolve tool to revolve this around. So I'm thinking a diameter for this that would look good would probably be like 0.8 inches. It's probably the most. 0.8 inch diameter on this. So I'm going to make this 0.4 for what the hilt will be here. So now this is where you get to be creative in what you want. So if you did a little quick lookup of, lightsaber hilts and look at some images, we're going to pick ones that are fairly symmetrical in terms of the way they look, just because they're a little bit easier to make here. And then, later on when you build your skills, revisit projects that you start early on and see what you can do with them. But something like this, I mean, this would be fairly easy for us to kind of replicate with what we're doing. So you've got a little flat here, then you got to angle in, got flat and angle out. So you've got just some angles, and we can put chamfers on those. So it makes it really easy to do using the chamfer tool. It's got some detail in here, some little cutouts, and then it's got some grooves here that we can do. I kind of like this. It's going to be good. So I'm going to make something similar to this. So I'm just going to kind of freeform it, based on what I think looks good. So I'm going to come down here. This is going to be my slope part. It's going to come back to a flat. It's going to slope out and down, back. And then this, it's going to have some cutouts. I'm just going to bring this all the way down to the main part here. And then I'm going to kind of come sideways here and down, and maybe in there at the end. And we're going to be done. And I just want to show you what this looks like just like this. No dimensions, no nothing. If you just take that and use the revolve tool and revolve this around this axis, I mean, it looks pretty cool just like that. You know, that's without really doing much of anything. I'm going to go back to my sketch. Here's kind of the cool thing is I can just literally make changes to my sketch. I'm actually going to bring this up like that so I can do those little cutouts in these spots. And I'm going to do some little detail in here. I'm going to use some rectangles and just make a few little cutouts here. And again, I can dimension all these. You can make them equal, so a lot of these constraints are pretty cool. Like I can say this is equal to this, these are equal. I can make these equal, I can make these equal. You know, so I can essentially make this equal to this. I can use like the vertical, you know, I can say that this is vertical above this. I can make this vertical. This is a good start. I think I'm good with this. So I'm going to finish this sketch. And now you can see the detail added there. Looks pretty good. And then I can put some things on this. Like if I put a sketch on this surface, and then I look at the top of that. Now, I wonder if there's a way to slice. There is typically. I'm not a master when it comes to using OnShape to see, because again, I want to see something down here, but I'm just going to make a couple lines. So I'm going to go from basically here to here, and I'm going to go here to here, and I don't want this line. And I could do some, so I could dimension this, but again, I'm not right now. I'm going to learn a few more things before we go with this tomorrow, but I just want to show you that I'm going to use the extrude tool, and I'm going to extrude this. I'm going to remove, and you can see it cuts all the way down through there. And we're going to say okay. And then I'm going to use the circle pattern, and I'm going to circle pattern that extrusion. So I want an entity, I'm going to circle pattern that extrusion, and then oh, we don't want to do a part pattern, we want to do a feature pattern. And then we're going to pattern that extrusion. There we go. And then let's do 6 of them. All around the thing. It's okay. Oh, what happened? There we go. Doesn't like it. What doesn't it like? Okay. That looks good. What doesn't it like? Could not recreate all instances entered. There we go. Okay, there we go. there's kind of our handle. Now again, we can go back to our original sketch, and if we wanted this to come in a little bit more, we could do that. See what that does. Mm-hmm. Oh, something did mess up when I did that. What happened? I think this is linked to something above it. Yeah, do you see that? So that's linked to something up there. We're going to Control Z that. Close that. All right, let's see what's going on. So there's something, well, this is, yeah, so we're going to delete that constraint. And now this allows me to bring that in. There we go. That's what I want it to look like. A little more of that. Looks pretty good. Again, lots of things you can do at this point. Like if you want to put chamfers on, like you could literally go in and you can chamfer these top edges, which is going to make it look pretty cool. And do that. You could then chamfer all these edges like that are around each of these pieces. You could kind of, capitalize on all of this and make these like 0.01 in terms of the size. Still doesn't like that. So try that. Doesn't like that either. Okay, fine. You don't want us to chamfer that. I got it. Well, what can we do here? We could do these. You could chamfer all these spots. Say okay. You could do fillets. Let's say you wanted to fillet these. Let's make those 0.04. And then you can do each one of these faces. Okay. You can do lots of stuff to make it look really cool in a short amount of time. Doing all those sorts of little features and little doodads. Once you get the way you want, we just need to put a hole in the top. So for me, I'm just going to create a sketch in the top, and I'm going to make a hole. And I'm going to dimension that. And this is going to be, I'm actually just going to use this as a new pin cap. So literally, I'm going to use the blade is going to be the pin itself. So I'm going to measure what the diameter of this is. And it is 0.315 basically, 0.315, but I want it to go in and be a little bit tight. So I'm going to change that value there to 0.320. So I'm just going to give it 5 thousandths clearance, and then I'm going to extrude that hole, and I'm going to remove, and then I'm going to go down, not too far. I just want to put it into, just get it into the space. So like 1.3 inches looks good. So my depth is going to be 1.3. Again, remember, this is 2 inches tall, so this should be plenty. We've got plenty of space there. And there we have it. That's going to be my pin cap. So it's basically a new pin cap for this, but it acts as, now it turns this pin into a lightsaber because I made a little lightsaber handle for it. I think that's pretty cool. If you wanted to, you could actually import this into another design. So you could go into your pen holder, and then we could import it, and then we can change this out and put your lightsaber handle here. And then you could have it all integrated. You got your lightsaber handle that the pen drops down into, you got your name on it, and you're ready to go. So that could be something new that we do just to add fun. So right here, I think you can hit Insert New Tab, and then you can do an import. Nope. Create assembly. And then I think we can insert into here. So how do we insert items? Again, I'm fairly new at this. Here we go. But we're going to figure it out. So we can insert that. There we go. And then let's do other documents owned by me. Put this. There we go. And now I can join this and basically put it on top of this if I were to remove that piece. So instead of adding this, I'm going to have an assembly, and I can join these two things together. So I can basically attach this lightsaber right to the hilt, right to where this place is, and I could, move it over from here. Yeah, we'll work on that tomorrow. Hopefully this gives you a heads up as to what we're going to do tomorrow. We're going to make a nameplate. We'll make a little pen holder, show you how to make a lightsaber out of it. Or you can make this as a separate piece and attach it to your pen, put your pen in here. Lots of options that you have moving forward. That's the fun part, is you get to decide what you want to do. So hopefully this helps. Have a great night. We will see you next time.